Lovely people, I've just spent the entire year following the life of a Christmas tree. I've shown you how one farm nurtures millions of trees and harvests them by helicopter. Along the way, I have picked up tips and frankly, industry secrets that no one's ever told you. I'm going to show you how to choose the best Christmas tree, how to make setup a breeze, how to keep your tree looking good the whole season through, lighting techniques, even how to get rid of your tree without feeling bad about it. So we have a lot to get through. I'm going to keep it moving quick. Hold on to your Santa hats. I'm going to bring you back to the day when I found this beauty and how I knew she was the one. I'm the kind of person— Hang on, I forgot something. This is actually a critical step that everyone forgets. No? Make that 3 things that you should absolutely know before you even go shopping for a Christmas tree. 1. Plan ahead where you're going to put your tree. This sounds like a no-brainer, but here's where everyone goes wrong. They put their tree next to a heat vent or radiator, and then they wonder, why is my tree going dry? I'm watering it every day. Ideally, you want to stay at least 3 feet away from any heat source. That goes for working fireplaces too, of course. Putting your tree near a heat source is like standing over it with a hairdryer. Speak up, honey, I'm blow drying the tree. Now that you have the perfect spot for your tree, keep that measuring tape out. Measure the height of your ceiling, plus any light fixtures or ceiling fans, and the clearance you have for the width of the tree. And lastly, get out your ornaments. Reacquaint yourself with how heavy or light these things are. If you have heavier baubles, you're gonna want a tree with stronger branches. And yes, not all trees are created equal. You're going to have a variety of species to choose from, and I'm going to give you the lowdown on their best qualities. Okay, now let's go. I'm the kind of person when faced with these many choices gets completely overwhelmed, but I have some intel on each species that's going to help you and me narrow it down. True firs, that's your Fraser, Noble, Balsam, Concolor, or White fir, they hold their needles longest. Now, Douglas fir isn't technically a fir, despite its confusing name, but it still has great needle retention and a very classic evergreen look. You can tell it apart by its yellowy green needles. They're flatter, softer, a little longer. They remind me of eyelashes. While the true firs, like this Fraser, generally have shorter needles that are a little stiffer and tighter, like a bottle brush. The Fraser's needles are beautiful. They're green on top and silvery blue on the bottom. But out of all these choices, what's calling me today is a beautiful 7-foot Concolor fir. Its silvery needles are unusually long, giving it a full, almost bushy look, and it has a citrusy scent that I absolutely love. If you're buying a tree from a retail location like this, as opposed to a Christmas tree farm, then your tree likely was picked a few days ago and made a journey to get here. So you want to test if it's fresh and feeling good. So all you have to do is rub your hand over one of the branches, and look, this is beautiful and fresh. I'm getting no needles. But if a few brown needles had dropped into my hand, that's actually okay. That's completely normal. But if green needles had dropped into my hand, that's problematic. The tree might be a little bit too traumatized, might not make it through the season for you. It's easy to get carried away and pick a tree larger than you need. The sky is a very high ceiling. Even tall trees seem smaller outdoors. Good retailers will have a measuring tool. Don't be shy about using it. Now, once you've chosen your tree, the next step is critical. A good retail location like this one will automatically make a fresh cut in your trunk, and if they don't, ask for one.
So we put a fresh cut on the tree to expose the cells, because a tree, just like a person gets a cut, you get a scar, it keeps it protected. You cut a tree, you cut a branch off, it automatically scars itself over.
That sap will prevent the tree from drinking water when you get it home, which means a fresh cut is critical to keeping your tree alive through the season. Another perk of a great retailer is that they'll have the ability to drill a hole in the bottom of your trunk if you have a stand like this with a central spike. Now, you don't have to have a stand with a central spike, but between you and me, this is the easiest way to set up a tree. In fact, this thing is nicknamed the marriage saver. So let's go home, I'll grab my husband, I'll show you why. Most retailers will help you fasten your tree to your car, but if you're on your own, remember to put the base of the trunk facing forward. It can handle 60-mile-an-hour winds way better than the delicate tip of your tree. No rack, no worries. At least I hope not. Here we go. Observe the husband and wife in their natural habitat as they approach the Christmas tree stand. This is a fraught moment full of tension. Will the male hold the tree straight? Will the female fasten the tree tightly enough? Will the tree fall over? Will a shouting match ensue? But wait, what is this? By George, they've done it! Without a drop of sweat, without a single tear. Okay. So one of the most important things about choosing your tree stand is the size of the reservoir. That's the bowl that holds the water. You want it to be big. Why? Because you don't want to be watering your tree every 5 seconds. A good rule of thumb is that it should hold a quart of water for every inch of tree trunk diameter. Now remember, your tree may have gone dormant for a week or more. It hasn't had a drink since it's come out of the ground. So in your nice toasty warm house, it's going to wake up and it's going to be incredibly thirsty. That first week, it is going to guzzle water, and you don't want that fresh cut to go dry because immediately it's going to start secreting sap and seal that cut up. And once that cut is sealed, it will not suck up any more water, no matter how much you fill that reservoir. And of course, when it's not drinking, this thing is going to go dry and it's not going to make it through the season. So that first week, check the water twice daily. After that, just once a day. Put your watering can next to your coffee pot and make it part of your morning routine.
Darling, I've got the sugar to feed the tree.
Don't need it.
Soda.
Save it for the punch.
Aspirin.
I don't have a headache.
No, to put in the tree water.
Don't need it.
Bleach.
Are you doing laundry?
To keep the beasties out of the water.
Okay, you don't need to give your tree anything but fresh, clean water. The aspirin, the sugar, it's old wives' tales. In fact, if you keep those things out of the water, then no bacteria will grow in your water and you won't need the bleach. So just keep it simple. Only fresh, clean water, doesn't need to be boiled, straight out of the tap will be fine. Okay, let's release the branches. Okay, I'm gonna let the branches settle overnight. I'll meet you back here to decorate. Okay, gang, we're gonna start with your lights. I have checked each strand by plugging them in ahead of time to make sure that all the bulbs are working. Now, a good rule of thumb is that you want approximately 100 lights per vertical foot of tree. I have a 7-foot tree, I have at least 700 lights. And check your package to make sure how many strands can safely be connected. Mine can connect like 10 strands, so I'm totally okay. There are 2 schools of thought when it comes to lighting your tree. One way is to encircle your tree with lights, to go round and round and round from bottom to top or top to bottom. The other way is to weave your lights along every branch or almost every branch from trunk to tip. That will give you a sparklier tree. It will add depth to your tree. That's the way I'm gonna do it. But there are 2 ways that you can actually go about weaving. You can weave around your tree, right? All the way up or all the way down, or you can weave vertically from top to bottom, bottom to top. And that's the way I'm going to do it because it means moving my ladder a whole lot less. Let me show you. Dip them way in there, all the way to the trunk. So citrusy. Getting my nose right in it. There's no real science to it. You just need to get it into the tree and back out again. And we have light. Now the real fun can begin. The ornaments. Everyone has their own style. I say do whatever you want to do. But just remember one thing. Put your heavier ornaments to the inside of the tree where the branches are strongest. The tree is twinkling, the ornaments are glowing, the room smells like evergreen with a hint of citrus. It not only looks like Christmas, it smells like it too. And it's not from a tree-scented candle. So what do you think? Are you feeling a bit more confident about getting a fresh Christmas tree this year? What? You look a little concerned. Oh, I know what you're worried about. Come over to the fire. Let's have a heart-to-heart. You're worried about waste, right? You're worried about cutting down a tree and then just throwing it out at the end of the season, right? I know, because I had the same concerns. But the truth is, a fresh tree is recyclable and biodegradable. You cannot recycle an artificial Christmas tree because most of them are made from PVC plastic, which is not accepted in any mainstream recycling program. Fresh Christmas trees are a farmed crop. They're not cut down from naturally occurring forests. They're grown on farmland. When they're harvested, they're replaced by another tree. And during those 6 or 8 or 10 years that they're growing, those trees are serving as habitats for wildlife and producing oxygen. I can't say the same about a PVC factory. At the end of the season, many municipalities have their own Christmas tree recycling program, and you just have to put your tree out on the curb at the correct pickup time. But even if your town doesn't do that, 9 times out of 10, you can find a local plant nursery or mulch yard running a collection program. You can drop off your tree and they'll take care of the rest. Alternatively, if you have a yard, you can turn your tree into a habitat for birds, insects, and other wildlife. That's exactly what I did last year. Notice that I used a sheet to help contain the needles and keep the branches from poking me in the eye as I dragged it outdoors. You can leave your tree whole or do what I did, and cut it down into smaller pieces that I've placed within the wood line. But now it's time to go back to the beginning. Go watch my How Does It Grow episode right now to discover the amazing journey your Christmas tree took from seed to haircut to harvest. It'll knock your stockings off, I promise.